Welcome and thank you for checking out the video today. What I want to cover is how to properly strengthen the adductors. So for you, those of you that don't know, the adductors are these group of muscles in the inside of your thigh. People also refer to as the groin. We so commonly strengthen everything else, right? Quads, hip abductors and glutes, glute max, hamstrings, that we often neglect this very important muscle group here at the inner thigh. So we want to make sure we have the proper strength and stabilization in this area just to have the resilience to do the normal daily activities and sports that we love to do. So 4 exercises I want to share with you today. First one is, it's a modified version of what's called the Copenhagen side plank. So Copenhagen side plank, if we think of a traditional side plank, right? Side plank position, we're here, feet are bottom foot's pushing into the ground, hips are elevated. We're getting the core, the obliques, this bottom hip to a degree. Just a small tweak on that exercise to get the groin a little bit better, or the adductors. All we need to do is, if we have a bench, this bench is a little bit high, but it will still do the trick for me. Some other people might need to find something slightly lower just to make sure they're not in this high, very uncomfortable position. I usually like to get people to be slightly level, as opposed to their knee is so high, their upper body is lower and then a sloped position. But if I was going to start from here, you can see I'm going to set myself up using my bottom leg to assist, drive my hips up and forward. As I lift this bottom leg, my top leg, groin, or adductors are forced to drive down into the bench to create that stability and strength for me to hold that side plank. So I'm getting the obliques still on this lower side, same as a regular side plank, but I'm getting the groin and the adductors on that top leg. So I can hold that anywhere from 30 to 60 seconds. That's how I isometrically, right, without that muscle or joint changing length or position, I'm holding that position for time to build up isometric strength in the adductors. Very simple exercise to progress over time. If we think of my lever there, from my hip to my knee, that's the length of the lever in that position. I can make that harder just by lengthening my lever. So you can see now the bench is at my shin. I can slide even further, so the bench is at my foot. I can lengthen the lever to make this a much harder exercise, which is what I recommend over time. Be able to perform this for 30 to 60 seconds in the modified position, and then from there, go to this fully lengthened position here. This is what you want to get to over time. Longer lever, harder, more stress on the adductor muscle group, but building up anywhere for 30 to 60 seconds. Okay? And I think it would be a good contrast in your program. So many people are doing side planks, so many people are focusing on glutes. This would be a good contrast just to make sure we're not missing the neglected adductors. Next thing, whether we have paper plates at home, we're on a hardwood floor or a tile floor, we have valve slides or carpet sliders, we can do what's called adductor slides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you from the side first, just so you can see my position. I'm going to put my knees on the valve slides here. So these will actually allow me to slide on the turf. I'm in the quadruped position on all fours. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually still going to use my muscles of my glutes. I'm going to activate them to pull my knees wider. It's going to allow me to slide away from the body there to the outside. But as I use those glutes to slide outward, I'm forced to eccentrically control my motion. These adductor muscles are driving down into the ground. They're lengthening as my knees go out to the side, so they're having to really support my body and hold me in position as I go as far as I can to my end range of motion. You can see I'm a little tight and limited here in that position. And then I'm going to engage those muscles. I have to make sure I'm on these fully, because I'm on the edge right now. Engage those muscles and pull back together. So I'm getting those adductors eccentrically as I go out to the side, concentrically as I come back together. These I'd probably want to turn to the side just to make sure I have plenty of space, since my knees are almost as big as these things. But just to see one more time, slow, control, sitting down to that butterfly position. You can see kind of the possible improvement or targeting of the mobility at the hips there as you go down, and then engaging those adductors as you come back up. Just to see from the front, knees are on, in quadruped on all fours. Again, engage through the core, nice stable position through the spine. Knees are coming out, I'm lowering down into that stretched position. I'm driving from my adductors to pull up and together. That's all it is. Not a super hard exercise, but I find it's a good way to really focus on training the muscles of the adductors to move eccentrically, control as we lower away, and then concentrically as they pull back together. And then as you start to visit that end range of motion, as you're out here, we actually can cause some improvements in terms of mobility and range of motion of the hips, okay? So that's our third exercise there. Last one, now we're upright here, so you can see how this is a progression over time. Isometric, eccentric, concentric, and now upright with a little bit more weight bearing. This is a lateral lunge. To me, it almost replicates a single leg squat to a degree, because I'm gonna use this leg here to sit into a single leg squat to sink myself down. This right leg is gonna slide out to the side. Same thing as the adductor slides. The adductor has to work eccentrically. And as I come up, I'm still driving from this leg, but I'm pulling from that really long lever, a lot longer than the adductor slide, to pull myself back into position. So this is the gliding disc, or Valslide disc, whatever you want to call it, lateral lunge. So from this position, I'm going to reach in front, sit back in the hips, still maintain good stability and alignment of this leg, sink out to the side with that gliding disc, that slider, pull myself back up. I can feel all those muscles in the adductor working as I pull back up. Okay, we could add weight to this. We could add some resistance as well, holding a dumbbell, nice and low, good range of motion, and pulling back up. So those are 4 exercises: the modified Copenhagen, the Copenhagen side plank, the adductor slides, and the gliding disc lateral lunge. It would be very beneficial for you to really work on addressing those often neglected but important adductor muscles. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to drop a line below, and I hope you enjoyed the video today. Thanks, everyone.